episode 25, a milestone.
25.
25. Are you ready?
Wow.
I mean, this is our silver anniversary, and who better to spend it with than the silver fox himself, Tom Atkins.
Tom Atkins. That's exciting.
Yep. See, we saved him for the 25th for that very reason.
That's right. We planned it.
Totally planned.
Yeah.
That was like that was your original idea. Like, we should do a podcast and we should have Tom Atkins be our 25th guest. I was like, great.
Wait till you see who we have lined up for the 50.
Oh boy.
Woo.
Forget about it.
You're not gonna believe it.
You're not. Oh shit. You know what? I should probably put my mic towards me. The whole time I had it over there. It's like, that might make a difference.
A little bit.
So 25th. All right, let's jump into it because we got stuff to talk about.
Yeah, let's get into it. What do you want to get into? I'm down here. Should we get my shit out of the way first?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's hear it.
All right, good to start. Down here, I'm out of quarantine. I've been out of quarantine for 6 days, 4 or 5 days, 6 days. It's great. It's glorious. Australia, or at least this area of Australia, is relatively COVID-free.
It's COVID.
COVID-free. COVID. And it's great. You can walk around, no mask on, and it's great. The only time you have to put a mask on is when you enter certain establishments and stuff. But other than that, they have this really great tracing system. Anytime you like go into a restaurant or a bar or whatever, you have to take your phone and hit a little barcode thing, and it scans and tells the government exactly, where you went in. So in case something happens, they can trace it.
That shit wouldn't fly down here in America.
It sure wouldn't, because that's my freedom.
That's right, brother. That's right. I bleed red, white, and blue, brother. You ain't gonna get my info. That's why they put in the microchips in the vaccine, because they're trying to trace you, because they can't already trace you with this.
That's right.
They? What?
Wait a minute. So nobody bitches and moans and complains about having to put a mask on or having to check in or anything, and hence it's relatively COVID free down here.
Yeah. So and people are happy, right? That's crazy.
And they're happy. They're perfectly happy and going about their daily lives actually better than before. They're all caring for each other and nice, and it's great. And it's like I said before, man, you're just going, man, America, get your shit together.
No, you know what that's called, man? That's called pussies. They're pussies.
Yeah, they're snowflakes.
They're soft.
But it's so that's interesting and super cool. It was amazing to come home from work the other day, walk down the street, which the beach is right there. I got up this morning and super early at 6 a.m. and went down and went for a walk on the beach.
I saw your post.
It was lovely. And you can just walk down there, and you can walk into a restaurant, sit down and order a meal and have a glass of wine and talk to people, and everyone's happy. It's just,
it's like, it's like, get your shit together, America. You could have this. It's attainable. Just follow some rules.
and no one's taking anything away from you.
Yeah.
You will want for naught. Just, man, I think there were 8 cases total in Sydney.
Wow.
Last week, but they were able to trace it and lock it down, and it was great. So it's nice being free. It's nice walking around. It's pretty great. It's pretty great. I think I'm going to go to the movies tonight.
Ooh.
Yep.
You already know what you're going to see?
I don't. I haven't even looked. I don't even give a shit. I just want to go to the movies and have some popcorn, and I'm going to go out to a nice dinner at a restaurant. Then I'm going to go to the movies and have popcorn. It's going to be lovely. It's going to be glorious.
Shit, you may never come back.
I might not. It's pretty damn great. Started the gig, and the gig's going good. It's hard. It's brutal, but it's good. And then juggling, work here and work there, because I'm prepping another show over there. So I have to get up extra early and get my day in LA before LA shuts down, and then start my day here. So I'm a little wrecked, a little tired, but good kind of tired. I'm happy. It's all good, positive stuff. So
So my guess is you don't have a get off my lawn for this week.
You know what? It's still packaging, man. Packaging. I've been unpacking stuff and unwrapping stuff and what is with the packaging with the world? Do we gotta package shit so fucking tight like it's uranium? I don't understand what the deal is. I can't get into these packages. And then you get into the packages and there's more packaging and there's styrofoam and twisty things that hold stuff on more styrofoam and plastic bits. And you're just like, fuck, it's a fork. Anyway. That's my only get off my lawn moment. My other get off my lawn moment is America, get your shit together, because a lot of other countries already have their shit together, and take your freedom flag and fucking put it to rest for a second so we can all get back to normal. All right? Great. Thank you. Oh, and we have a new president, which is awesome. I'm not going to get into politics, so that's exciting.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
I got to tell you, it's kind of crazy waking up here now and not immediately turning on the news to see what the fuck happened today. Like, to actually feel like, you know what? I don't really need to right now. I'll check it later. You know, it's been quite a relief. But to get to the get off my lawns, I got a couple.
Oh, let's hear it.
All right. Well, one of them, has to do with McDonald's. I had a McDonald's experience the other night I was not pleased about. These are real world problems. So, so I said to Nay, I said, I feel like a treat, how about like a little McDonald's sundae? I'll run over and grab a couple sundaes. And she's like, okay, yeah. She goes, I'll have a strawberry one. I'm like, yeah, strawberry sundae sounds really good. Yeah, got my mind all ready for strawberry sundae. Go over there, go through the drive-through, because the McDonald's, they still don't have the lobby open, the one by my house. Get to the window or to the order thing. I'm like, yeah, 2 strawberry sundaes. And they're like, oh, we don't have strawberry sundaes right now. And I go, do you guys not carry them anymore? And they said, no, we have a limited menu due to COVID. And I'm looking at the menu, and it's literally the same fucking menu I've seen forever, except strawberry sundae. Like, is taking the strawberry sundae off the menu? What is the purpose of that? What is
saving lives?
Yeah,
it's saving lives.
What is it about COVID that is omitting the strawberry topping you put on top of the same vanilla ice cream you're using for the other sundaes?
Right.
I just thought that was ridiculous. I
think it's because they realize that the strawberry topping is made from bats, Chinese bats.
But call me crazy, but I think it's the same strawberry stuff they stick in the shakes that they. So it's sure. I don't understand what the deal is, but anyway, that pissed me off. Get off my lawn. I want my strawberry sundaes back. And then the other thing is Hobby Lobby needs to fucking stop it with the goddamn signs of like, love in this home or all their slogan signs. Dude, Hobby Lobby is filled with nothing but uplifting slogan signs.
Right.
I mean, everywhere you look, it's some fucking sign that says,
aren't they some weird big Christian cult thing?
Well, they are, but it's just, who's buying all these signs? Who's buying these signs that say, whatever, this house is a house of love.
You're saying, is there such a high demand that they got to have so much inventory of this shit?
I mean, Hobby Lobby's a ginormous store, and I think 50% of their store is those stupid signs. I mean, my God, enough with the inspirational signs. I don't need your manufactured inspiration.
No, exactly. Your corporate inspiration. Yeah. And I went in there once in the past. I've been in there once, and that was recently, only because I was desperate. I didn't even have what I wanted, like not even close. And it was a simple item, like a simple hobby type item. I was like, well, you don't even have that, but they have a ton of that other shit that you don't need.
Yeah.
Styrofoam balls to put plastic plants in. You're going, what am I doing with this? Anyway, well, those are 2 good ones. There you go.
So those are mine. So let's talk about what have you been watching? Anything? I mean, did you watch any stuff your last few nights?
No, I haven't, because I've been just too busy. When I get back, I'm wrecked. So I haven't. No, I haven't watched anything.
I've been on a sort of a vigilante sort of gang type of kick lately. I watched the first 2 Death Wish movies, which because I bought Death Wish 3 on Blu-ray and I wanted to get, I mean, I've seen them all a bunch of times, but I didn't want to just jump into 3. So I watched 1 and 2 again, which I hadn't seen in a while. And man, you know what? They're not that good, really.
No.
I mean, and Charles Bronson, who is a great actor. I mean, you look at some of his early performances. I mean, like even his Twilight Zones. I mean, he's great. But in Death Wish, he just seems like he don't give a shit. He just phoning it in.
Yeah.
And his wife in part 2, she is terrible. God, she was awful. I forgot what the actress's name is, but she was his wife in real life.
Right.
Yeah, she's really bad. And God, just the rape scenes in part 2 are just it's like too much, man. It's just, I don't know. It's not that great. I remember part 3 just being so batshit. It's fun. So I'm looking forward to part 3. I also watched Vigilante, the William Lustig film with Robert Forster and Fred the Hammer Williamson. And I enjoyed that movie more than the Death Wish ones, even though it's got a really kind of a lame ending. The ending's sort of not that great, but I just got a real soft spot for Robert Forster. I love that guy so much.
Yeah.
In everything he's in.
Yeah.
And then I also watched 3:15, The Moment of Truth. I don't know if you know that film. Not very well known. It starred Adam Baldwin from My Bodyguard and Deborah Foreman from Valley Girl. And it's basically he was in a gang. They kill somebody, go too far, and he wants out. He gets out. They go to the same high school. The gang is getting busted at the school for drugs, and the gang leader runs into the locker room where he's getting changed and says, put this in your locker. And he's like, get that shit away from me. And then he gets busted. And it's like, you're going to pay for that, and now it's the gang is after him and his girlfriend, and one of those movies. But it's fun. It's a fun movie. Yeah. So I'm glad I bought that Blu-ray because it was just an impulse buy. But the other thing I watched, which I know somebody asked about, so I'll wait until we get to the question, was about the Richard Ramirez documentary series.
Oh yeah, I did watch that.
You did? Okay, well, we'll talk about that when we get to the question. A lot of buzz from our last episode because of our guest, Robbie Kiger, which you weren't involved with.
Right.
Yeah, lots of comments. I'm glad everybody was respectful. There wasn't, I only deleted one comment. There was only one rude comment. But yeah, hey, the guy has had, a rough patch. He's a really sweet guy. Hopefully, doing the private signings, making him some extra money helps him out, I hope,
Yeah.
But he's a good guy. And I thought he gave a really open and candid interview,
Yeah.
And I spoke to Andre Gower and Fred Decker afterwards. And Andre has no recollection of the incident that Robbie speaks of. He thinks that maybe he remembers like the party and everything, but doesn't remember that incident per se. Maybe he said he thinks maybe he thought that he was mad about it or something, but he said he had no beef with Robbie. And I gave information to everybody, so hopefully they're all connecting,
Right. Was it an overall positive response to that one?
Yeah, it was. I mean, I think I told this to you after I did the interview that, it was sort of a spur of the moment idea because I was sitting there at this signing watching the person getting their, all the stuff signed. And I'm just I'm the one who brought him there. I'm the agent, if you will. Right. And I'm just sitting there and Robbie just starts telling stories. And I was just like, wow, these are some great stories. And, hey, would you want to do an on-camera interview? I mean, we should be documenting this stuff. And he was all about it. So I'm glad we did it. And I just wanted, awesome. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure it didn't come off as trying to exploit somebody in a bad situation. And so when I went back and I watched it, and he told me how much he appreciated it and enjoyed it and wanted it to be seen, I was like, yeah, this is not a exploitive thing. So
I didn't see it as that. I saw it as an opportunity. It was obvious that guy wanted to kind of it feels like he's trying to get back into the world in a positive way. And, he also seems like a guy who does things to extremes.
Yeah.
And so even dipping his toes in the water of getting back out there is going to be a little more extreme and come off a little more extreme than most people,
Yeah.
and less calculated. So I think that's the way it came off to me. And I think, you can't worry about what everybody thinks, man. It all came from a good place and good intentions from you and him. So that's all that matters. Done. Doesn't matter what people think.
Well, let's dive into the questions.
Let's dive in, because I'm going to go dive into the ocean. No, that's not true.
Oh, by the way, I did watch the MLK documentary. I don't know if you saw that.
I haven't.
It's called MLK FBI. It's really, you should watch it. It's pretty heavy.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
It's all about how the FBI was basically terrified of King. And
Sure.
I mean, you can make your assumptions if they had him killed or not. I mean, it's what's
that on? What outlet is?
It's on demand right now. Speaking of King, the King has died.
That's right.
Larry King passed away today.
That's right.
Yeah.
89 he was?
Yeah.
God, I thought he was far older than that. But
well, it's funny. I mean, there was a moment recently where he had been kind of off the air for a while and came back, and I was like, oh shit, he's still alive.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize he was still with us. And I mean, I knew he was when I heard today, but there was a moment there where I thought he had passed. So,
right, yeah.
But I mean, that guy's had a hell of a career and a hell of a life. And
yeah. We could only hope to have that kind of career and longevity and respect as well.
Well, eventually this show will get there. I'm sure, people will be like, Larry who? Eventually.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh, here's the next one on the vigilante lineup. Got to go to the Exterminator next.
Oh, I like the Exterminator. I remember always liking that.
That's a good one. That one, I'll probably watch that one and Death Wish.
I think Exterminator 2 I like better.
Really? Ooh.
I do. I seem to remember Exterminator 2. Exterminator was always on HBO when I was younger, like every day, round the clock.
Mm.
And I didn't have HBO, but my best friend did. So after school, we would go to his house and watch the Exterminator because it was on every day. So I've seen it like that. But then Exterminator 2 came along, and I was like, ooh, this is like the Empire Strikes Back of Exterminator.
I don't know if you see it there, Nay's little Elm Street house.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Yes.
There, that way. I don't know. That way. It's always weird when looking at the camera. I can't figure out which way to go.
It looks great. She did a great job.
I put a lot of light in there.
Nice.
How cool is that?
Nice.
Yeah. So.
Really. Tell her congratulations. She did a great job.
If anyone's interested, DM me and I'll get you her info.
We got questions, everybody. More questions from people.
All right. So we're going to start with both of these.
Both of these. Got both of them.
Yeah. Sean and Chris, have you guys seen the new Night Stalker Netflix documentary? And were you guys living in LA during the attacks? That is a good question and part of what I wanted to talk about.
I did see it. I thought it was really good. I was living in LA and I remember it very, very well. And I remember it being very scary. I remember there was an overwhelming sense of not only panic and fear and it reminded me very much of the Summer of Sam, in New York when the Son of Sam was that hot summer in the 70s. But I remember it very well. And I remember it was all about locking your doors. It was all about make sure the doors are locked, make sure the windows are locked, make sure. I seem to remember a lot of people having weapons like baseball bats and things beside their beds in the middle of the night. You know, people not sleeping really, people sleeping in the day and not sleeping at night. And I remember it being literally like kind of mass hysteria. It was insane and very scary. Although, well, we'll get to that later. But I thought it was really great. But I do remember.
Yeah, I remember it very vividly. I can even remember where I was, like the first time I took it serious. Like when people were taking it serious, I was staying the night at a friend's house, and I remember, for whatever reason, that night was the night of, man, you know, lock the windows, lock the doors. And I remember being genuinely terrified, like looking out the window, like, could he be out there? You know, I mean, and I was, at the time, I was like 14, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I remember that vividly. And, you know, right by my house here, about 2 miles away, in Mission Viejo, was where he killed one of the families. I mean, so I've actually driven by that house, and
well, that's what the scary thing about it was at that time was
it was so random.
It was so random, and LA is such a huge city. I mean, it covers. I don't think people really realize when you say when I say Los Angeles, I'm saying Los Angeles County, and the outskirts of it. It's so vast. I don't think people have an idea. And the murders, one of the reasons why it was so scary is it was so random in super far opposite ends of Los Angeles and Los Angeles. Like it could be anywhere, like Mission Viejo to San Francisco to in the valley. You know, you're like going what? And that's another thing that made it so damn scary and so random. Also, like houses, apartments, older people, younger people, male, female. It was just so strange. And also too, at that time, obviously there was no social media. It wasn't like it is now. And that's something that series kind of sparked in my head. It was like, I don't pay much attention to what's going on these days as far as murders or serial killers or stuff. Is that still even a thing? You know what I mean? Is that a common thing that I don't really follow or hear about so much? What was the reason why the 70s and 80s had this serial killer block of, you know,
well,
of all these examples?
I think it's because it's really hard to get away with these days. I mean,
sure.
I mean, as soon as you find out someone was killed in a certain spot, they're checking all these cameras in the area. They'll find you. You're gonna get caught. I mean, it's not like the good old days where you could just kill somebody and have a good time,
get away with it.
Yeah.
And there's no one taking a picture, and there's no one doing this, and also the evidence technology now, you know, the finding it was insane. So.
Mm-hmm.
Be good, kids. But yeah, great series. I really enjoyed it. Although I'm also fascinated the fact that the whole Hail Satan thing, and which I found comical, actually, especially when he goes Hail Satan and then he walks off.
Yeah,
I thought that was really funny. I think the other thing that I just shook my head at was all his groupies, all the girls that were sending him photos and wanted to have sex with him. I'm like, what is wrong with you people? What the hell is wrong with you? This guy killed families and ruined people's lives forever. And you want to fuck this guy because you're a dumb ass. You know, it's like that kind of stuff drives me nuts. But
that's just the fascination with fame.
So, the American way.
Yep.
But great series.
Yeah, the documentary I thought was phenomenal, especially how they didn't glorify him. They didn't even show him until the 4th episode, like a picture of him, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So, Itachi Uchaya? What? I don't know. I'm wondering if people are making up weird ass names just to trip me up. Itachi.
Yes, it's just to fuck with you.
Ukaiha. Said that Robbie Kiger is right. Anne Margaret was dating Elvis Presley for 4 years. Okay, so there you go. Eobard Thon said, question for Sean and Chris. It was just John Carpenter's 73rd birthday. What are your top 3 Carpenter films? I don't know. Should we save that for a ranking episode, or should we just go ahead and give our top 3?
Give your top 3. Go.
You go.
Me?
Yeah.
That's hard, man. I gotta say, off the top of my head, that's tough.
All right, I'll go.
That's
number one, I'm going Halloween. Number 2, The Thing. Yeah. Number 3, The Fog.
Right. I'm going, it's a tough one. I love Halloween. It's tough to get 3 in there. But if I had to, it's like The Thing, Halloween, and the third one is either Escape from New York or Starman. I'm a big Starman fan. I think it's a really good film, which I think should be. Never mind. I have a theory about that. But anyway, go ahead. Those are mine.
Okay. Bobby Hall said, question for the 2 heads. How do you guys rank the Star Wars movies, including Rogue One and Solo? Man, that's a whole... He says, Christopher, I know you only like the original trilogy, but I'm curious what your opinions and criticisms are of the prequel and sequel trilogies. Thanks, guys, and may the Force be with you. That's like a whole episode, dude. I mean, there's so many of those movies. We'll get to that. I know it's not horror, but you know what? We got to put some thought into that. That isn't just the off the top of your head answer.
I mean, real quickly, Solo, I wasn't really interested because there's only one Han Solo, and that's Harrison Ford. Yeah. End of fucking story. Yeah. I'm sorry, call me closed-minded, but I can't get past that. It's Harrison fucking Ford. Without him, forget it. Yeah. And then Rogue One, I don't even remember. It's those series of movies for me. I'm not crazy about them, and my biggest issue with them really is that they have like 5 endings. Like they never end. You're like, okay, is that the end? Nope. Goes for another 20 minutes. Okay, is that the end? Nope. Then it's 15 minutes. Okay, is that the end now? Like you couldn't pick one, so you just put them all in there.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
Yeah. I mean, I hate the prequels. The prequels, all 3 of them to me are garbage. I liked Force Awakens. I liked Rogue One. Solo was meh. Last Jedi has lots of issues, but it was fun, but it's not good. But I love Mandalorian. There you go. Right. Matt Ray says, I love Robbie's honesty in this interview. To have been a child actor in the 80s and walk away from the business for a normal life is something that I respect 100%. As he alluded to, once you hit puberty, you aren't the cute kid anymore and roles dry up. He was smart enough to see the way the industry worked, and I hope he can one day find a sense of resolution with Andre. Okay, so he's just making a comment there.
It's nice. Thank you.
Yeah. Nice Calm Down Rich. Christopher, you should stop by Rode Microphones in Sydney and ask them to sponsor the show. They sponsor a bunch of podcasts. Also, once you get back, you should join Sean and Hollywood's Hallowed Grounds on That Thing You Do.
Oh, yeah. I'd be totally into that. I love it.
Well, we've been talking about going down to that orange circle and at least showing you. I mean, we could film it. I think that's his kind way of saying you need a mic right now. Justin Matthews says, I'm not sure if it's classed as a sequel, but Mallrats is a good sequel comedy to Clerks. I guess Mallrats it's a sequel kind of, isn't it? I mean, Scott J and Silent Bob, so it's technically sequel. I mean, I guess Clerks 2 is more of a direct sequel, but the next person said, Michael McGurn said Clerks 2 is a lot better and funnier than Clerks. This is going back to our topic of, is there a comedy sequel that's better than the original?
Right.
You know, I love Clerks 2, but I think Clerks is better. I don't know. And as far as Mallrats, I think Clerks is better than Mallrats too.
Right.
I don't know. Well, there's a lot of opinions in here. We got a lot of sequel people here. Brandon Gregory said, as far as comedy sequels being better than the first, I'd have to go with Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me, Shrek 2, Deadpool 2, Back to the Future Part 2, and there can be an argument made for American Pie 2. Okay, well, first off, Back to the Future Part 2 is not better than Back to the Future. Sorry.
No.
Shutting that one down. I also don't think Deadpool 2 was better than Deadpool. I don't know.
No.
Shrek 2. I don't know those movies.
I like Shrek 2. I'll give you that one.
Okay.
I like Shrek 2 better than the first one.
I don't think American Pie 2 is better than the first American Pie.
I don't even remember those.
Spy Who Shagged Me, though. That's an interesting one. Maybe
it is. I'm with them on that. I mean, I worked on it, so yay. I don't know if it's better. It's just a little different. I get that. That was a good one. Okay.
Logan Dumont said, "Here's a solid movie franchise trilogy that's almost perfect. Back to the Future." Now, well, you know what? Part 3, I'll give him that because we're talking about, is there ever been a complete,
right.
sequels?
Right.
It's kind of like the first 3 Star Wars. I mean, Jedi is not nearly the film the first 2 are, but it's still a good movie. And sure. I kind of go with that with Back to the Future 3. It's like, it's not nearly as good as 1 and 2, but it's still a good movie.
It's fun and it fits. I think the point of that is the first 3 Star Wars, yes, one's better than the other, but they for lack of a better term, pardon the pun, they're in the same universe. They fit. Mm-hmm. They go together. One film isn't so drastically, you're not going, what'd they do here? And Back to the Future's like that. I could see that. It's consistent, more consistent than most.
Lucas K said Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey and Austin Powers' The Spy Who Shagged Me are both better than the originals, but that's about it. So he's in agreement on Spy Who Shagged Me. Bogus Journey, I used to think I thought Bogus Journey was better, but then on revisiting them, I'm sticking with the first one. And it's funny, I was with Alex Winter 2 days ago, and I told him about this topic and that several people picked Bogus Journey, and he said that's a long debated topic between those 2 films, which one's better. He didn't give me his personal opinion, but he said, lots of fans are on the fence on that one.
That's fine.
Ed Hill said the Final Destination movies are pretty consistently good. Gotta disagree with you, my friend. The 4th one, the 3D one, is garbage. The 4th one, it's like 1, 2, and 3 are super fun. The 5th one, I loved the way they wrapped it up. But the 4th one, when they tried to do the 3D movie, it's just terrible. And I saw
How many of those are there? Are there 5?
There's 5.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, 4th one's poop. Dino Clark. I don't know. No relation, Dino Clark. I love that you guys both love Schitts Creek, one of the best shows ever. And Chris, I also got choked up during the final episode, so absolutely no judgment. It's such a feel-good show, which we absolutely need right now. Another great feel-good show, if you haven't already watched it, is Ted Lasso with Jason Sudeikis on Apple TV. Like Chris, I was also disappointed in Wonder Woman 84. On a side note, I really do want to try Dunkaroos. So a lot of people have been posting about Ted Lasso, this Jason Sudeikis show. I want to check it out. I hear you got to stick with it. Like the first couple episodes may be a little slow, but then it gets amazing, is what I'm hearing.
Well, I like Jason Sudeikis. I think he's pretty great, pretty consistent.
Yeah, he's a super nice guy. I bumped into him and Olivia Wilde at the ArcLight one night in the parking garage.
Oh yeah.
And being a massive Tron nerd, I'm like Olivia Wilde. I'm like, Tron Legacy, love Tron, blah blah blah. And Sudeikis was like, I said, I got the game in my house. He's like, you got the game, you got the whole game. He's like, that's awesome. He goes, you're into it, dude. You're into it. I mean, he was just super cool. And I said, dude, I love you too on SNL when you're in the red tracksuit. He was a really nice guy. They were both really nice. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Matt Lucas said, hey, Sean, just wondering how many Friday the 13th filming locations have you been to? And would you ever do any Horror's Hallowed Grounds episodes for any Friday the 13th films? Also, do you or Chris recommend anyone to overhaul my Trick or Treat Studios H40 mask? Maybe Chris himself could do it. Haha, that would be awesome. Friday 13th, that would be awesome. Friday 13th films, I did written article episodes on part 1 and part 4 that were in Horror Hound magazine. I do plan on doing those 2. part 2 and 3 have been done, and there's not a whole lot left on either. I really want to do part 5. And I know you've been to part 6. I've never been there. And I know they're doing some screening there at the camp.
Are they?
Yeah, this summer, I think. And Tom McLaughlin's going to be there.
When are they doing that? Because I'm going to be in Atlanta.
I'll look it up and let you know. I don't know off the top of my head.
I would love to go to that. That'd be
fun. And then maybe I'd fly down and go with you. That'd be fun.
Boop, beep, boop, boop.
And as far as overhauls, I mean, the only person I know that does them is that Seven Sin Studios. And so he's the only guy I can recommend because he's really the only one I know that does it. I know there's a lot of people that do it, but
yeah, there's a ton of people that do it. I get someone sending me one pretty much every day. A different person every day that wants, the opinion and also all the tips on how to do it. And again, I'm always like, man, everyone wants my secrets because they're all making money off my secrets. It's like, give me a percentage. It took me 30 years to figure out how to do it. Figure it out.
So Seven Sin Studios is who I'd recommend. Anthony Landry said the Christmas card picture. Remember the Christmas card picture we couldn't figure out? He said it's the ending of It's a Wonderful Life. So there you go.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because his brother comes. That's right.
Yeah. Gary Lugazi. Gary Lugazi.
Hey.
Hey guys, first off, love the show. Helps me get through my night shift at the crematorium. Insert Return of the Living Dead joke here. To respond to the third Tales from the Crypt movie comment, it was called Ritual, and it was released on DVD. I actually own it. Seriously love the show. Can't wait for the shirts. So he's talking about the one that you said that you'd worked on that never saw the light of day. It did come out.
Right. Oh, it did.
It came out on DVD as Ritual. Tales from the Crypt presents Ritual.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. Wow. All right. Well, that's interesting. Speaking of crematorium, real quick, I know we have a lot to get through. I had heard down here, somebody told me, who was it? Maybe it was Stephanie told me that the air quality in LA is worse now and it's bad. And part of one of the reasons is because of the crematoriums are working overtime because of all the COVID deaths.
Now that sounds like a Return of the Living Dead beginning. The smoke is going to start coming out.
No, but apparently that was a story in the Los Angeles Times.
Oh, shit. And it's raining today. Because, the rain will bring it down and then they're all going to rise. Uh-oh.
Right.
Shit.
COVID everywhere.
It's so nice that it's raining today. It's so nice. It's crazy to live in a place where you pray for rain. Christopher Bell says, I agree with Chris on Vegas Vacation. It's horrible. Otherwise, that would be a great franchise. I think I can safely say that I like every Star Trek movie. I can't think of one that's just unwatchable. I also like every Halloween movie, minus the Rob Zombie films, which I feel like are in their own alternate universe. So I guess they really don't affect the others. I disagree with that, sir. But first off, I'm not a Star Trek guy, but the first Star Trek movie's poop. Star Trek the Motion Picture. I went and saw that in the theater when it opened just to give it a chance, and it's terrible and boring and slow. And I saw Wrath of Khan. I think Wrath of Khan's good.
I love. That's my favorite. That's the only one I like.
Yeah.
Wrath of Khan.
The rest of them, I'm glad you enjoy them, sir. And the Halloween films, you have to count the Rob Zombies. And I'm sorry, but Resurrection is in there, sir. So I don't know what you're thinking. It's from Vicky Maskell. Sean and Chris, I just want to say a big thank you to both for starting this show. It's definitely been a welcome break from all the doom and gloom. My voice, puberty. All the doom and gloom of the past 9 months. And I look forward to your shows, which has become essential Saturday night viewing, along with pizza and cake.
The two of my favorite things, pizza and cake.
Yes. Stay safe and well, and looking forward to buying the merch when it's released. Vicky Maskell.
Thank you, Vicky. That was awesome. That was a very nice letter.
Thank God she put how to pronounce her last name, because I would have said Meshalak. Maskell.
Mescal.
Yeah. John Zateka said, Sean, are you a fan of Frank Henlotter's film Brain Damage? I saw it like once, and Henenlotter's films don't do a lot for me. I'm not a Basket Case fan. Frankenhooker I like, just because it's so ridiculous. Yeah. But I don't know. I've just never been a big fan of his movies. You?
Right. I like Frankenhooker because it's just so ridiculous and all over the place. But no, not really.
I mean, exploding hookers is pretty awesome.
I mean, you can't just stop after that because you're not getting better than that.
Yeah. Jordan Moran said, another great episode, guys. My girlfriend got me into Schitts Creek during lockdown, and I've been intending on binging a bunch of Christopher Guest movies, most of which I haven't seen. I think she'd enjoy them, as you point out, the similar humor. What is your top 5? Top 5 Christopher Guest movies?
Well, that's almost all of them, isn't it?
I think he only has like 5. But I guess if you're saying in order, I'd go Best in Show. Then I'd probably go Big Picture. Then Waiting for Guffman. Then probably For Your Consideration, and then Mighty Wind.
Yeah. Well, we're not counting Spinal Tap because he didn't direct that. So
that's Rob Reiner.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd have to say that. I'd go Waiting for Guffman, then Best in Show. I love Big Picture too. Yeah.
Dude, I quote Big Picture all the time, dude.
It's so good.
Dude, just for Martin Short's part in there, you're making a huge mistake.
I like all those movies, man. They're so good. That sense of humor just really appeals to me.
And it's so, the thing with Big Picture is, I think it probably only really appeals to people that are in the business because it's got so many of those inside type of jokes that you have to kind of...
horrifyingly accurate.
Yeah.
Like, horrifyingly accurate.
One of my favorite scenes is when he's applying for the job and he's looking at the application. And he says, "Oh, it says you're a director. Jimmy, our busboy's a director."
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, so good. Yeah.
So good. The Pez people.
Don't be bitter, Chapman. I love that movie. Pez people. Renee Rodriguez says, really cool to see Robbie Kiger is still alive. I actually thought he died. So glad he's finally taking part in the Monster Squad signing. I wish him good health. Thank you so much for sharing this interview. See,
there you go.
We've brought him back. Sawyer Smoke said, I'm pretty sure the only franchises I can think of that I enjoy all the films would be Austin Powers or the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans. I don't know, that third Spider-Man. Emo Spider-Man.
Oof. That was the one where I think I went and saw it and I walked out. I was in a big phase of walking out of movies. Well, I still do it. But that one I walked into, and I think I left after the beginning of the second musical number.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm out. I got up and left.
He said, regarding the topic of superior comedy sequels, I think Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey definitely qualifies. It's a wickedly funny and creative follow-up with so many great gags. Every scene with William Sadler's death is comedy gold. As much as I love and respect Excellent Adventure, Bogus Journey is one of those rare sequels that's better. What are your thoughts, guys? P.S. Looking forward to the eventual Alex Winter episode. Maybe Mr. Winter can tell us which of the 3 films are his personal favorite. You know, again, I'll give you this one. I mean, I think the first one's better, but they're both so damn good. I
really enjoyed the expansion of, I really enjoyed the expansion, but the Bill Sadler death, like that killed me. When I first saw the movie, I just wanted to see the whole movie about him.
Yeah.
It was such a show-stealing performance and so funny. You know, you sunk my battleship. Like that murdered me. I just thought that was great. And there were a lot more makeup effects in it. So I was excited about that, you know, Station and the robots and things like that. So I have a soft spot for that one.
Matt Ray said, Sean, hearing you talk about Razorback reminds me of an article I read years ago about director Russell McCauley. Is it Russell McCauley?
It's McCulhey.
McCulhey.
It's pronounced Colvin, man. What else could it be pronounced?
Coven. That's the proper pronunciation.
No. Coven. No. Coven sounds like oven, man, and that's just, it doesn't work.
Russell McKay.
That's Russell McKay. It turns out that the producers William Panzer and Peter Davis picked McKay to direct Highlander after seeing Razorback. Apparently, it was a big hit in Australia at the time when it came out, so that combined with the popularity of his Duran Duran videos is what got him the job for Highlander. Okay, good to know. I remember I interviewed Russell. I was on set I did a set visit in Mexico City on Resident Evil Extinction. I think that was the movie he directed, and I interviewed him on set for. I'm pretty sure that's where I met him. I don't know. I have to IMDb that. I could be mixing it up with another set visit, but I think he was the director of that. Nice guy. Bert Vetter said, "Hey, Sean and Christopher, how are you holding up in quarantine so far? Here is my comment on best comedy sequel. Austin Powers, A Spy Who Shagged Me, in my opinion." See, a lot of people picking that one. Yeah. Better than the original. Groten Vanut Van. He put something in German, and then he put that it means greetings from the Netherlands and take it easy.
Well, thank you.
Boogeyman Ben.
Boogeyman Ben, he's sending my questions. That's it.
You just ruin that song every time.
I do.
Thanks guys for another great episode and for answering my question. The segment with Robbie Kiger was a bit rough to get through. Seems like he's had a hard life, and that makes me sad. Glad to see he's getting recognition for his work in Monster Squad and Children of the Corn. Sending him and you both my best. So.
Thank you, sir. Our best to you as well.
Kevin Wrightson said, "Got the stickers today, Sean. Thank you. Love the show, guys. Look forward to every episode." Speaking of which, I just went to the post office and picked up a couple things here. Let's see what we got. We got
viewer mail time, everybody. Viewer mail.
Rick Howard. Here we go. And I believe he is AKA It's All For You Demon. Sean, here are some extra stickers for Chris. That was stupid of me to only send one of each. Insert Philip Seymour Hoffman crying in his car in Boogie Nights. Included 2 glitter ones as well. Thanks for doing your show and creating such great content. Take care, Rick. And he sent us both glitter ones of the Creatures of the Night one.
Nice. Thank you, Rick.
An extra one of those, an extra one of these, and an extra one of those. So you're getting all of them now. I'm not going to hoard. I'm not going to hoard the good ones.
Thank you, Rick. Appreciate it, because Sean's a hoarder.
I'm a hoarder.
He keeps good.
I got, looks like, there's no letter in here. It looks like David Miller just wants stickers. So it's a self-addressed stamped envelope. So David, I will send those out on Monday. And then Harris, let's see. Harris put $5 in here. Wow. And a self-addressed stamped envelope. And he says, "Hey, Sean and Chris, I just wanted to say thank you for all the entertainment you guys give us. My girlfriend and I look forward to every show. I was wondering if you, at the Dawn of the Dead reunion at Moreauville Mall I think a little typo. I think he meant to say, I was wondering if you were at the Dawn of the Dead reunion in Moreauville Mall a few years back. I've been to a few. I've been to a few of them there, so yeah. Also, I wanted to know where Chris grew up in Pittsburgh. I live near where he grew up in Robinson. Keep up all the great work and look forward to all the new stuff from you guys in 2021. Thank you. Stay safe. Brian Harris." By the way, I was the Called Just Brian on your live podcast. We watched a couple times and laughed our asses off. Oh, okay. Yeah. I added an envelope for mailing and will proudly put your stickers on my SUV. Doesn't acknowledge the $5 he put in there, but I'm going to get probably a Big Mac with that. So
or a strawberry sundae.
I'm going to save that till strawberry sundaes come back.
Anyway, thanks to that gentleman for thank you for watching. And as far as where I grew up, it was a place called Irwin, Pennsylvania, which is out near Greensburg, between kind of Monroeville, Greensburg, and it was Irwin, Pennsylvania. Also, there was a smaller area there called Circleville, that was my thing. So There you
go. Off subject. Well, another topic. See this box of tapes here?
Yeah.
And this box of tapes here?
Yeah.
So I bought a mini DV player. I'm going through all these tapes, a treasure trove. I'm blown away by what I have. I've been staying up late every night transferring them. Wow. It's stuff from my journalism days where we did on-camera interviews. I was the on-camera guy for the Horror Channel, which never really became anything. But dude, I've got sit-down interviews with Wes Craven, Richard Brooker, Jeffrey Lewis, David Hess, couple different interviews with David. People, these are guys that have passed away. I mean, there's tons of great interviews. I'm going to start putting them up on the channel.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a name for it. And I was talking to my good friend, Eben McGar. And and he suggested doing a play on Garage Days Revisited, like Convention Days Revisited or something.
Right, yeah.
Which is kind of weird because I still do conventions and go to conventions. More like maybe like Journalism Days Revisited. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a clever name.
That's a good one. I don't know, because you want people to go, did you watch CDR? I loved your last episode of CDR.
Okay, CDR sounds better than JDR.
Yeah, CDR.
Yeah, I was saying Journalism Days Revisited would be JDR.
No, it's Convention Days Revisited. You can't go journalism.
Well, the man is in the house. Are you ready? Here we go.
I am ready. Let's do it.
How's your sound?
Hello, sir.
Hiya, fellas. How you doing?
Hello, sir. How are you, Tom, sir? It's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Hiya, Chris. Thanks a lot. Am I too bright, too dim, too light, too dark, too anything? Or?
You look great.
Lighting looks good. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So.
Welcome to the show. It's such a pleasure. I'm a huge fan of yours. I think you are a fantastic. I know you hear this shit all the time, so I'm just gonna let me get it out because I don't know if So I think you're a great actor. I love your stuff. You're a fellow Pittsburgh, fellow Berg. I'm from the Berg.
Oh, you are. Oh
yeah.
My God, yeah. Where are you from? Oh my God, where are you from in the Berg?
I'm from not anywhere near downtown. I'm out from I grew up kind of outside near Greensburg, a place called Irwin, Pennsylvania.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So that's where I grew up before I moved to LA when I was, I think, 15, 16 years old. So, but yeah. I know it very well and grew up there. And it molded part of who I am. So, and you're a big Steelers fan, right?
Yeah, so, me too. Yeah. It's a great city, great town. Yeah. I love it.
It's so different. It's so different than what it used to be. When I grew up there, it was still dark and kind of deer huntery with the steel mills and the coal mines and things. And then when I left, they cleaned it all up, and now it's this really beautiful, high-tech, amazing place to live, right?
It is. It's gorgeous. It's a wonderful town. It's like the San Francisco of the East. If you get up in Mount Washington and look down, it's a great setting where the three rivers come together down there at the point. And it's a wonderful neighborhoody kind of town.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, speaking of Pittsburgh, and I finally watched the DVD you gave me. Why am I?
What DVD? The Chief?
The Chief, yes.
The Chief.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, I watched it about a week ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
Nice, huh?
Yeah.
Sweet play. Yeah. Yeah, about the old Art Rooney Sr. Yeah. God, he was a great guy. He's an icon. Yeah. I never met him when he was growing up, older. But I watched a lot of tape and stuff, and I bear a certain similarity to him, and I was kind of born to play the part, I think. I was born on North Side. He was born on North. Well, maybe not North Side, but he spent his whole life over on the North Side. Yeah.
Well, I want to see it. When I get back to LA, I'm gonna gonna get a copy of that.
Oh, sure, yeah. I think it's available on Amazon or one of those places.
Oh, okay.
I could send you a day. I could send you a copy.
No,
I'll sign it for you.
Oh, that would be amazing. Okay, yes.
Okay, all right. I'll do that.
I see. You got a horror hound statue back there.
I do, yeah, somewhere. Oh yeah, right there. They gave me the... Oh yeah.
Yeah, we won for best picture audience choice award for Black Waters of Echoes Pond. So.
Oh, nice.
Anyway.
Nice.
So we got a lot of fan questions. So I want to just start banging through these. Let's go ahead and just start with Amanda 7X says, question for Mr. Atkins, pretty obvious one, but how long did it take you to get the 3 More Days, the Halloween song out of your head after making that movie? You probably didn't even hear that song on set, did you?
3 more days till Halloween, Halloween. It has never gotten out of my head. We heard it all day, every day. Every scene we shot, I think you could hear it.
Oh, so they did have that sound on set.
It was around a lot, yeah. I never found it too maddening. It was so appropriate for the film, especially in that at the Buccaneer Lounge up there in Pasadena. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. When she and I were in there, and it would come on, and at different places through the shooting. Yeah.
Andy Riker said, what was it like shooting your death scene for My Bloody Valentine 3D with the pickaxe going through your mouth?
Andy, I'll tell you. I'll try not to make this too long, but I got a call from a woman agent here in Pittsburgh, not my agent, but casting agent. And she said, Patrick Lussier would like to meet you. He's going to shoot a movie here, My Bloody Valentine 3D. I'd like you to be in it. I said, yeah, I'd love to meet him. So we met at a coffee shop downtown there, at Old Hotel, at the old William Penn. And he said, Tom, I want you to play the sheriff in this film. I think you'd be great in it. And my only problem is I'm afraid when I tell you how you die, you won't want to do it. And he told me, and I said, that sounds good. Let's go for it. Yeah, sure. That sounds fun. And it was a lot of fun. And they built that. It was a pickaxe bottom cut off, not the pointy stuff. And the stuntman held that, the guy, the killer.
Chris Carnell.
He
recently passed away.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
But he held the bottom, and Gary Suttercliffe?
Gary Tunnicliffe.
Tunnicliffe. He built a device to fit over my teeth and hold in my mouth so that just the bottom was there and the thing was in my mouth, and it looked great. And he, wherever he moved the handle, I went screaming. And then Gary said, it will, at the moment it happens, it will fly out over the right shoulder of everybody in the audience out through the corner. and it was great seeing it on 3D out there in LA at the screening. At the premiere. Yeah.
I have to say that was one of my fondest memories. You invited me to go, and I sat next to you.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I think I enjoyed watching you watch the movie more than anything, because you laughed at yourself every time you were on screen. Yeah. You were cracking up. That was a fun night.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy watching yourself acting?
I do. Yeah, sure. I'm just a fan of film, and I've loved film since my mom took me to see Stairway to Heaven in 1947 with David Niven and some other guys. Some guys get shot down in a bomber, and I'm a wonderful audience for movies. I just love watching them. So I don't think much of me. I'm just into whatever I'm watching.
Right, that's great.
Yeah.
Lee Robinson from the UK said Halloween 3 is one of his favorite movies. And how many takes did it take to get the perfect phone scream right? Was it a long process, or did you smash it the first time?
I think I smashed it one of the first couple of times. I think we did it a few times, as I recall, just for, fly in the gate, make sure nothing was wrong. But it was fun. That was fun.
Did you ever see, apparently there was a version where at the very end, after the stop it thing, that I guess the screen goes black and they had inserted the sound of screaming children. Did you ever see that?
No.
Wonder
where that came out.
Well, from what the story I've heard is that when they did the screening, test screening, that the executives thought that was a little too much, that they wanted to just keep it a little more ambiguous. Yeah. Like, did he save them? Did he not save them?
Yeah. Well, I know Tommy Lee Wallace always says when we're at conventions, not if we're having a Q&A, and he said the Tom going out with a scream leaves it. Did they save them? Did they not? But the alternative, millions of kids screaming in agony was not really what they wanted. What he wanted.
Yeah.
I would like to see that version, because I think it would be so different and really impactful. I like that.
Yeah.
That's about me.
Yeah.
Well, Lee also wanted me to say that The Fog is one of his all-time favorite horror movies, and he wanted to thank you for freaking him out as a kid. And
great.
And how is Gus?
Gus, the golden retriever, my old golden retriever. Who's Gus?
I guess he said, "How is Gus?"
Oh, Gus died.
Oh.
We have Ace now. Gus passed away at the age of 13. Cancer, as Goldens often get. He was a great dog, but now we have Ace the Wonder Dog, and he's a 85% Jindo, South Korean dog. Yeah.
Our good friend Colin Murdy.
Oh, Colin Murdy.
Colin Murdy from, where's he from? Ireland?
Colin.
No. Scotland. Oh. Question for Tom. Do you have any props from Halloween 3 or Escape from New York at home? And who would you like to work with on film or stage that you haven't worked with yet? So he wants to know, did you keep anything from those movies? You have one of the, is that a real one?
One of the creeps? No.
Oh.
No, it was somebody gave it to me at a horror convention. But no, I don't. I do not. No, I don't have any. And who would I like to work with that I have never worked with?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Okay.
I work with everybody. I don't know. Anthony Hopkins would be nice. Some really old fine actors. I would like that. Yeah.
Daniel Caruso says, my question for Tom. I saw you about to do it, Chris. My question for Tom, what is his favorite Dead film, being he's from the Berg? Do you have a favorite of George's Dead films?
Oh, the first one, Night of the Living Dead. Yeah. That's my first. Yeah.
Andrew,
I would say Creepshow, but that's not a Dead movie. So, yeah.
Andrew Thompson said, you worked on a lot of big TV shows from the day. What was your favorite and any standout memories from then? From
Rockford Files, without a doubt, Rockford Files. Jimmy Garner is one of the finest men actors I've ever met. really good actor, and that was a treat. I'm sorry I didn't do more of them. I got offered a series, a pilot for a series that went to series for one season. So unlike today, back then, if you were on a thing and you got something else, you were off the thing. Mm-hmm. But today, there are people doing 2 or 3 things at one time in TV. But back then, you couldn't do that. So I left to do Serpico with David Burney, a short live thing. But I wish I had done more seasons with Jimmy. I only did 2, and I did about 7 episodes. And then we did some movies of the week in the 90s. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We had a question from a guy named Rocky Floor who said, can you ask why he was the captain in most seasons of Rockford Files and not in some? And what was it like working with James? I think you answered both on that. So
I answered them, but I'll tell you, I was not the captain in the series. I was a lieutenant, Alex Steele. And I was promoted to Commander Alex Steele in the later movies of the week thing in the 90s. I was bumped up.
Sawyer Smoke said, hello, Tom. I'm a huge fan. I love your work. I have a few questions, but feel free to just answer one. But we'll ask both. Your choice. Number 1, when working on Halloween 3, were you signed up for a sequel, or was it always the intention to leave it open without resolution? And question number 2, do you have any funny stories from your time working on Lethal Weapon with Mel and Danny?
No, we were never signed up for any kind of a sequel. We just, I was happy to do Halloween 3. And we knew everybody was going to be upset because Michael Myers wasn't in it, and that proved to be true. But no, I don't think at that time Tommy or anybody had any intention of moving along with that kind of storyline, because it was John's original intention when he started Halloween was to have an anthology of different Halloween stories every Halloween, every year, or however often they could put them out. But when the first one came out, it was such a huge hit that the other guys, the money people, said, no, just make Michael Myers movies. We don't want any. This is already green lighted, Halloween 3. And it's in the shoot. You can make that, but don't make any more. And Tommy said, would like to call it Season of the Witch. And the money people said, no. It's part of the franchise. You have to call it Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. But that was that. And funny stories about Mel and Danny. Not so much about Mel and Danny. Who's the guy that shot me from the helicopter? Gary Busey.
Busey, yeah.
He and I were down Western costume. I'm getting fitted for 2 beautiful Armani suits, banker suits, pinstripe, beautiful, gorgeous, fitted. He's getting his crap, fight him, killer crap. And he gets a phone call. And it's and we're right there in the same room, and it's Richard Donner. And Busey said, yeah. So look, this shit about being an albino, I ain't gonna be no albino. I don't want to be an albino. What the fuck I got to be an albino for in this movie? and it gets quiet, and he goes, yeah. Okay. All right. Fuck. He said he'd hire somebody else if I wasn't the albino. So that was that. And Mel, one one of the sweet things about Mel, he was young then and smoked like a chimney. He was terrific. He was always right there, great fun, and good guy. And he had this little trampoline, a one-person trampoline in front of his trailer home all the time. And he'd be out there, you know, just bouncing up and down in between takes and that, and smoking while he's bouncing. Right. And I said to him, Mel, why do you do that? He said, Tom, greatest thing. It keeps every muscle in your body just to make sure that you stay on it. Everything is working. And he was built good then. He was tight. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. It was cute. He was I never really got to work with him much because he was on the edge of both scenes in that.
Right. Those are great stories. I like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you know, and then his son ended up playing an albino in that movie Contact. Just fun fact.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway. Ernest Ponce said, love the show, Sean and Chris. Question for Tom. What was it like working with Robert Zadar and Bruce Campbell on Maniac Cop?
Robert Zadar and Bruce Campbell. Robert Zadar is an odd fellow. And I feel bad that he passed away, and he had a lot of problems, but he was easy to work with. It was his off set, you know, that he had so many problems in his life, but he was a terrific guy. I liked him. Good guy, troubled, but Bruce, we see each other every once in a while at these kind of convention things around the country, and he said, and we always meet somewhere in a bar or a signing room or somewhere, and he says, what the hell was it with the director Gusky?
Bill Lustig.
Lustig, yeah. He said, you're the star of the first one, and you're dead in a half hour on top of a cab, out a window, gone. The second one, I'm the star. I'm at a newsstand buying a magazine. Some guy stabs me to death for no reason. It had got nothing to do with anything. What the hell's that about? Yeah, we didn't have a real high opinion, I think, of Bill. But he's still alive. Lustig, is he still up in a canyon somewhere? Yeah,
he's still out there.
Yeah. He was a strange guy. Yeah, but they were good movies to do.
Ben Jones said, you got to work with a bunch of incredible directors: John Carpenter, George Romero, Richard Donner. Who did you have the best experience with, and why?
Well, George is probably because he's from the Burg. He was just a big teddy bear of a guy who was so personable and easy to work with, and almost like being with your best friend as opposed to a director. And he knew exactly what he wanted, and he knew exactly how to enable you to do that and be there without directory talky stuff. And John was terrific, but a little more not personable. You know, he's kind of a cool guy, but he was really good. And Donner was like an old-fashioned Hollywood director, cigar smoking all the time when he could, when it wasn't interfering with anything. When we shot the scene up at the yard where Busey killed me, we were Palos Verdes, I believe, somewhere just south of LA, kind of high cliff that the helicopter come up and he shot me. And Donner was out on the front street talking to all these people. There was, there are a lot of folks around, just onlookers and that, neighbors, and Donner said, I heard him out there say, so look, we got these two guys, Danny and Tom, in the room, and they're talking. The helicopter's going to come up and shoot Tom and then go over the hill and down. And what do you think? You think that'll work? And the fans are going, yeah, oh God, yeah, that sounds great. I hope so, because that's what we're going to do. And he would talk to everybody, and he would talk to us while we were working. And what do you think? What do you is it all right here, or would you rather do it from over here, or you want to say this, you want to say that? And he was really easy, lovely guy to work with. He did get in a big to do there with the extras. The first time the helicopter come up for the rehearsal, and I'm all rigged up and with squibs and shit, and there's 50 people in front of me and all around the camera, but it's behind me. The door, the yard, the helicopter comes up, and the extras, because only about a month before that, Vic Morrow and a young kid were killed on the
Twilight Zone, the movie.
Yes, yeah. And the extras said, we don't want to do that with this helicopter. Donner went out and talked to them. They got the helicopter gaffer to go out and talk to them and assured them that the helicopter would be hovering off the cliff, but the perspective makes it look closer, and then it would fly over. And he said, only when they're hovering, the helicopter guy said, only when they're hovering, they're a little dangerous. But when they're moving, and there's no problem. So they did it. They said, okay, all right. And then they agreed. It was a great shot and a wonderful effect. And then Mel's trying to shoot it while it's flying away.
It's a great scene.
Yeah.
Eddie Coulter said, what are some of your favorite...
Fast Eddie
Coulter said, what are some of your favorite books that you would recommend to read? I remember a few years ago at a con in Atlanta having a great conversation with you about some of your favorite reads at that time.
Oh, wow. All the Light We Cannot See. I love Lee Child stories, Jack Reacher stories. I like the Baldacci Memory Man kind of stories. I love Michael Connelly. I love the series Bosch and all of Connelly's Hieronymus Bosch books. I'm a big fan of police procedurals and thriller fiction, but not nonfiction. I get enough of that watching MSNBC and NBC. Yeah.
Addison Heath said, any fun or interesting stories from the set of Maniac Cop? I adore that film and believe it to be one of the most underrated flicks of the 80s.
Why? Why is that?
Why?
I do not. Honest to God, I don't really have. I have a memory of sitting in a bar with a guy who played a cop who's been in a bunch of horror movies, and maybe you can remember, I can't, and that was kind of fun. And I remember making this entrance into the film down along like a coroner's office hallway, and I thought, oh, wow, that's neat. And then Lustig had some other cop walk with me. And I thought, well, that ain't neat. What the hell is that? It's just two cops walking down the hall. Yeah, I didn't have any. I'm glad the guy really appreciated the movie and loved the movie. I wish I could see the underratedness of it.
Right. How long were you on that? Would you guess?
A couple of weeks, 3 weeks, maybe.
Yeah,
3 weeks or so. Yeah.
I'm looking up the cast here, trying to think of who you might have been talking about. Was it William Smith?
Yes.
Okay.
That was who it was. Yeah, William Smith.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good guess. I figured.
Yeah.
I was thinking Ben and other horror movies.
Yeah. That was him. That's him.
Corey Daniel Forster said, which of the Patrick Lussier and Todd Farmer rejected projects was the most disappointing not to get to make? Halloween 3D or the Hellraiser prequel?
Oh, Halloween 3D.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the one that would have come after. Yeah.
Were these projects you were involved in or signed up for or something like that?
No, only talked about with Patrick mainly.
Right.
But he was going to make Halloween 3 Rob Zombie storyline. Mm-hmm. And that's the one that didn't get made, that would have been a lot of fun with Scout and the other girls from the survivors or whoever came from that first storyline.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But that was while we were making Drive Angry that we were talking about that. Drive Angry was a wonderful experience with Patrick and Nick and Gary Tunnicliffe, who I guess makes all of Patrick's stuff, and Todd down there in Shreveport, Louisiana. But we were talking about the Halloween 3 Rob Zombie storyline, and when Drive Angry came out, it did so poorly that whoever was talking about Halloween 3 said, stopped talking and went away. Yeah. Right. It just dried up, disappeared. And I felt terrible for Patrick for that. But he's a good director and he does some nice stuff and not having a lot of luck.
Michael Grove said, not really a question, but he met you at Horror Hound in 2019 and you were by
hell yeah, I know exactly who he is. I remember. No, Michael Grove. Okay.
He is by far the best guest I've ever met, and I love talking to him about his time on Oz. So he just making a comment.
Did he say he liked talking about Oz?
He said he had a nice chat with you about Oz.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Matt Dedosis said, did you enjoy Halloween 40 Years of Terror, the convention, the last one in Pasadena, and did you also enjoy the event at the Buccaneer on the final night? We had a blast.
We had a blast.
No.
I had a blast. That was such a treat. Mm-hmm. When I went there and you told me what you had in mind in that, and I thought, oh my God, at the end of the weekend, this is going to be such a pain in the ass to go up there and at night. And it was wonderful, just wonderful. And we sold two saloons out. I mean, the Buccaneer 2 times, right? They had 2 busloads. And it was, I tried to limit myself to 2 pints of Stella. I think I ended up with 3, but I was fine. And it was great. And it was great to belly up to that bar, which is, as you know, still exactly the way it was when we shot Halloween 3 there. All those 122 years ago. And to belly up to the bar and have every fan come up and raise a glass and take a picture, say hi to and walk. It was just great. And I really enjoyed going up to see the church too. You took me up afterwards to see the old church from the fog. What, Chris? What were you going to ask?
Oh, no, I was just going to say I love that area. I actually was in that bar shortly before the COVID shutdown. I actually was out on some show. I was working on something, and I was in that area, and I was like, I love this area. I'm going to go have a drink at that place. So I went and sat, had a couple drinks there, and then, of course, went to the Fog Church, because anytime you're out there, you got to hit all that stuff. So, and that bar is exactly the same. It's really scary.
Yeah, it was stunning. I couldn't get over it. Cracked me up.
I was really surprised at how willing they were to accommodate us for my idea, because when I first talked to the owner, I thought she was going to be like, nah, there's no way I'm shutting the bar down for your little event. And I'm like, I got to be getting you guys a lot more business than you normally get. Come on.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Even just for the one night.
Yeah, on a Sunday night.
There were people eating and drinking, and everybody had a wonderful time.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they got into it. They even made up their own special silver shamrock drinks and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
cool.
Yeah.
Adam Wilson said, I'd love to know.
Oh, hey, I'm sorry. Before we go on.
Yeah.
You don't have one from Jamie Squires, do you? My friend over in England. He may not know about that. Anyway.
Yes, I do.
Do you? Okay. Okay.
Yep.
So now who do we have here?
Adam Wilson said, I would love to know if Tom has any interesting stories from his time filming Lethal Weapon. Okay, you already covered that. We'll move on. Glenn N. Glenn N. said, how does he approach playing Scrooge, a role played by Scott, Finney, Barrymore, and Kane, and has it changed or evolved over time?
Oh, I had the best time here in Pittsburgh. When I went to New York, I was there. I had a wonderful time, 8 years, and I went out to LA for about 15 years, and then I moved back. And I didn't expect to move back. I thought I'd come back for a year, hang out for a while, and get out of my first marriage that was not working, and then go back to LA. But I stayed here, found a whole new life. And I started doing plays as I had in New York and in LA. I did a couple of plays in LA, but I started doing plays down at the Pittsburgh Public Theater, and I would do one a year or two a year, off and on through the 70s, 80s, 90s. And then 2003, we opened The Chief, one-man show. We did it for 10 years. Great role. And the following year, in 2004, they invited me to do Scrooge at the Pittsburgh CLO down around the corner at the Byham Theater. And I loved doing that. Sometimes, one year, near the end of, it all ended about 5 years ago. I think I've wrapped up everything. But one of the final years, I did Our Town, the stage manager, in the fall, followed by Scrooge, and then The Chief. Man, I was tired. I want to take a hot shower for about an hour. As Jimmy Garner would say, you go take a hot shower for about an hour, you feel better. But it was the treat of my life that year, and those roles. And Scrooge, I loved Scrooge. My favorite Scrooge was the first Alistair something, 1930 something, 40 something. I just found his performance to be so dour, followed by incredible joy and redemption. That's kind of who I did mine on. I loved it. Yeah, I loved both of those roles to end up on Scrooge and The Chief.
looking up who it was. Alistair Sim.
Alistair Sim.
Yes.
That's him. Yeah.
He also had this is a weird question. I don't know the reference, but maybe he knows more than I do. Was his frat Gamma Pi notorious for anything? And is he still in touch with his brothers?
Of course I am. Yeah, sure. And it's Gamma Phi.
Gamma Phi.
We are the oldest local fraternity in the country. Wow. They are at Duquesne University, and probably 105 now, 106 years old fraternity. And my fraternity brothers, I'm still in touch with a bunch of them that I went there with, and they're my brothers, and we meet at a place called Slice on Broadway, pizza joint that was owned by a friend, an old fraternity friend, who lets us bring our own wine, and we buy his food and salad, but drink wine that the brothers make.
Right.
Yeah, so I still see them, but with the COVID, not so much. Yeah.
Ryan Gollinghorst said, what's it like to be the coolest MFer on the planet? And then he says, never mind, chuds like me will never understand. So, so Mark Beer says, much love to Tom. When did he meet John Carpenter for the first time? Was it during auditioning for The Fog? And what was his experience like working on The Fog?
It was not. The first time I met John Carpenter was at the screening of Halloween at the Directors Guild screening room theater over in Hollywood. And it's a nice little story. I was married to Garn. Marge, who in the motel room next door in Halloween 3, she was my actual wife then. Or maybe we weren't married yet then, but I was with her. She and me, she was in Greece with Adrienne in New York, and they were great friends. So Adrienne said, I'm starting to date this fella, and I want you to meet him because I think it's serious. So she said, come and see the movie he just made. And we went, and so it's Garn, myself, and our friend Jeannie, whose husband owned a restaurant over in the Fairchild District Farmers Market District. The three of us are sitting, I'm in the middle. So the movie starts, and before long, both of them are like this. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Can we look? Can we look? Yeah, look now. Oh God, oh my God. So at the end of it, I loved it. It's a wonderful movie, as we all know. And at the end of it, they both leaned across me and said, we cannot let Adrienne marry this guy. He is insane. So we went up to the lobby, and that's when I met John. And he was not insane. He's a great guy. So, no, I didn't have to audition he invited me to do The Fog. And there you go. That's how I met him.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
Gary Mancini.
And they did get married.
Yeah.
They got married.
And that worked out great.
They have a beautiful son, Cody. Yeah.
Gary Mancini said, what might Dr. Chalice have done at the end of Halloween 3? Do you see any further adventures for him? That's a random question, I know.
Well, I don't think he Oh, well, maybe he just moved back in with his wife and lived happily ever after with his 2 kids, who I never really understood why he left them.
Right.
He was a bit of a
ladies' man.
Yeah, I guess you
bit.
could say that. Yeah, and he was fond of the jar. God knows, I never drank so much beer in my life as I did in that film.
Well,
Yeah.
my friend Brian Collins actually submitted a question, and it kind of pertains to that one. He says, "What do you think that Dr. Chalice would be doing right now?"
Having
Today.
a Miller Lite, or no, having a beer.
Looking for some other lonely women
No.
that just lost their fathers to consult.
That Dr. Chalice from 35, 40 years ago, he would.
Yeah.
But this Dr. Chalice would be looking for a nice glass of red wine and a really good meal.
A fresh widow.
And a warm body to lean against. Yeah.
Craig Phillips wanted to know, what was it like to do a love scene in Halloween 3 with your wife right next door?
Yeah, wasn't that weird? Wow. Actually, Garn wasn't anywhere around that day because she wasn't shooting. But it was surprisingly a lot easier and more comfortable than I thought it would be. And there weren't that many people in the room. There's only Tommy and Dean and the camera operator and 30 other members of the crew. No, I'm only kidding. there were only maybe a half a dozen. It was all right. I kind of wish in retrospect we had gotten it going a little more.
I bet you do. I
Yeah.
bet you do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you still friends with Tommy and things like that? Do you still?
Yeah. Well, not friends, but we email once in a while, or we don't call on the phone or talk. And I see him. We always have a nice get together when we're go to the conventions.
Right.
But, not really. No.
Okay.
Well, we were all supposed to have gotten together this past October in Florida, but that got postponed.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe in May.
It got
next shot.
Well, I don't think he was involved in the one in May. I
know. No. There's a different Florida guy.
Yeah. No, that's Pensacola. The one I'm talking about was Orlando.
Right.
And actually, Chris was supposed to go to that one too. So hopefully, if maybe we'll all be in Orlando in this October. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
That'd be all right.
Yeah.
That'd be all right. I would enjoy that. That'd be fun.
Anthony Landry said that he's also looking to become a silver fox. How does one become one and attain such legendary status as you?
Oh, it's all because of my father. That's where I get the hair. I had nothing to do with that. And Patrick refers to me as the silver fox once in a while.
Wow.
I never think of myself as a silver fox. I'm just a guy with silver hair and a nice mustache and a nice smile. And yeah.
He also said, "Thank you for being so kind at the Buccaneer meet and greet. Be safe and all the best." So he was there, apparently.
Best to him, too. There were a lot of really sweet people there that night. That was just I can't get over how joyous that evening was. It was really fun, really.
Yeah, I was so at that point exhausted and stressed from that weekend.
I'm sure you were.
I'm just glad it went smooth.
Yeah.
And when it was over and everybody left and I drove you by the fog church,
yeah,
the sense of relief and weight lifted off my shoulders was so great.
Great. Wow. Yeah. I'm sure it was, Sean, because you worked hard on that. That was a terrific weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Great turnout at the show. It's, wonderful turnout for all the fans. That one, Horror Hound, Nathan in Cincinnati, they're good stuff.
Yeah. David West said, Tom, what was your favorite film to star in? And were you disappointed that Halloween 3 Season of the Witch wasn't a film with Michael Myers? That's a good question. When that was brought to you, hey, you want to be in Halloween 3, did you immediately think, oh, Michael Myers movie?
I did not think that because I think one of the first things that anybody said to me, I can't remember if it was Tommy or John, because John and Deborah produced it, and so they were involved in it. But one of the first people that talked to me about it told me that Michael Myers would not be in it. So it didn't matter to me whether he was or he wasn't, but I figured when I read the script, I thought, well, there's going to be a lot of angry people. He isn't in it, and and you could just knew that, and it's just something we had to deal with. And Tommy did the best job he could, I think, by far with what he had. I think we made a really good movie. Yeah. And the people that come up to me at shows later down the road and said, "Where the fuck was Michael Myers? Jesus Christ! I'm 10 minutes in the movie. No fucking Michael Myers. What's going on?" And my personal question, I don't know that you could put this, was, I don't give a fuck.
Were you happy with the final product when it first came out? And B, are you surprised at the resurgence that movie has had all these years later? How people are looking back on it now, and it's actually getting a lot more attention, a lot more respect, and a lot more love than it has in the past. Like, especially people are starting to realize it.
That is true, and I was happy with the way it turned out. I think Tommy was. I'm not sure, but I think they should have made it clearer somehow, or not put the Halloween 3 on it and let it be Season of the Witch. Something to, I think it's the marketing of it that kind of denigrated it at the beginning, and I am in awe of the love that it's gotten since, and continues to seem to build. The longer we're away from the time of making it and first releasing it, it's just gotten somehow richer and richer.
Right.
And I have so many people come up to me now and say it's my favorite of the Halloween movies, and it's sweet, nice.
Yeah. Great.
Oh, the thing about, you said something before that. Oh, my favorite film to star in, Night of the Creeps. Yeah, Night of the Creeps is my favorite.
David Grove, he's actually a pretty well-known author. He's written several books on various franchises and stuff. He had a question for you. Mr. Atkins, as you and Charles Cyphers and Nancy Loomis and others appeared in multiple John Carpenter's films, did you feel like you were part of John Carpenter's unofficial repertory company?
I guess, in a sense, but not so much. Chucky, I think, has been in 7 or 8. I don't know, a bundle of them. I was only in, what, 2, 3, 2?
Well, if you count Halloween 3.
Well, Halloween 3 is
so
one.
3, Escape from New York and the Fog.
Escape from New York, yeah, 3. Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. And it's kind of a nice other fraternity to belong to.
Well, I've said this to you before, and I still kind of stand by this. I kind of feel like you were replaced by Peter Jason. Like, it seemed like the parts that you would have gotten in future Carpenter films went to Peter Jason, who went on to do, I believe, 7 Carpenter movies. And I think maybe that had a little something to do with your relationship with Adri, and their split. But
maybe. Yeah, that could be. My biggest disappointment with John was, I remember him, before he and Adrian were solid, he lived in Malibu. He rented a place in Malibu for a while. And we were out there, I'm pretty sure it was his place. Anyway, we were out there one day having drinks and food and stuff. And he told me about The Thing, that he wanted to make The Thing. And I said, oh my, that's my favorite favorite horror movie of all time. It's the first horror movie I ever saw, sci-fi, was the Howard Hawks production in 1953. Mm-hmm. And I love that movie. And he said, well, mine's going to be based kind of on the story, but it's going to be different, more like the book, I guess. And that was my biggest disappointment, was not being in that.
Yeah. And you would have been absolutely perfect for it. I mean,
yeah, it would have been great.
I would love to have been any one of those guys in that.
Right.
Not Kurt Roll, but anybody.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been.
I would have put you on the roller skates.
Such a treat. But I think John was a part of the. Well, I don't know what. Anyway, I'm sorry I wasn't in it. Yeah.
David,
everything with yeah.
Yeah. David had another question. It said, Mr. Atkins' Halloween 3 marked the end of the Carpenter Hill filmmaking partnership, as John Carpenter and Deborah Hill went their separate ways after the completion of that film. Did this feel like the end of an era for you?
No. Hell no. It was only the beginning for me. I just done The Fog, Halloween 3, a couple of things. No, didn't feel like the end of any kind of. I never had the sense that I was in an era.
Right.
I think he meant more the era of the
Deborah Hill. I understand what he meant, but no, I didn't feel that.
You're just working. I mean, you're just working.
That's it. Yeah.
Jeffrey Robillard wants to know, do you have any memories from the MASH episode you guest starred back in 81, 82?
I do. Mm-hmm. I do have a couple. There. I remember sitting outside the set, wherever the hell it was, tent. We weren't really outside. It was on a stage somewhere. But there were all the tents around, and talking with Alan Alda and the other guy, Pierce. I can't remember his name. Nice guy who also has a relationship with the Berg. But we were talking about the dialogue and something about up till now, nobody ever burned a toast or something. And Alan Alda said, wow, that's such a good line. It's such a, whatever it was, he said, we got to get that in there somewhere. And we did. And they were really, and it was our 9th year, I think, of 11. But they were as eager to do it as I was for my first time, as they were for their 387th time. It was sweet, nice. I'm glad I was able to do it. And I love playing a bigot, getting cashiered out of the army by a black guy, no less. Yeah, I did. I enjoyed that a lot. In his suite.
What was his name?
Nicole Williamson, I think.
That was
Isn't that it?
That was the name of the actor?
Yeah. Okay. I'm not great at.
I don't see anybody with a name close to that.
Because he didn't end up being in the film. That's the point of the story.
Oh, there you go.
So he starts out as the colonel. He's gone through a terrible divorce. We're really behind the Iron Curtain. The Soviets they're everywhere. Everywhere you go, they follow you. And you think you're being paranoid, but you're not. They really are. And the phone, it's no cell phones then. The phones go away in the middle. You're talking to your wife in California, and all of a sudden, not there. So this happened numerous times to Nicole. We're about a week into the shoot, and the phone disappears. He took every single thing in his room that would fit through the window and threw it into the front street. And immediately, all these gray suit Gestapo kind of guys are upstairs, and they tell Blvd, he's gone. He's out of here. He can't be in the country. We don't want him. I'm a week into the shoot. He's the star of the movie. He's gone. So he left. He was gone. And they brought in Stacy Keach. He starred as the colonel. The second thing, Michael, help me. Well, he wasn't in either, so you won't find his name. Okay. Michael an Irish kid. He plays Scott Wilson's part, but he starts. Scott isn't that. So Michael Moriarty is in this starring role, and him and Blvd has adopted him as his Catholic godson, kind of.
Keep talking.
Okay,
I can hear you.
Go ahead. And he helps him through all the film, the scenes, the dialogue, the motivation, everything at his home in Malibu, Blvd. And when we get over there, first day on the set, we all get called to the set.
Right.
And him, Michael, and Eddie are in the room, Eddie Flanders, to shoot this scene. And they talk about it, they set it up, they get ready, and Blvd says, action. And Michael says, I don't know, Bill. I got a question about this. I'm not sure what I'm doing here. Bill says, you're fired.
What?
He's gone. Bill couldn't believe that after all the prep and all the work that he was having trouble finding his way as the character, and he fired him. And so he's gone. And Scott Wilson got moved up. And now Stacy comes in, and the last story. There was a disco on the top floor, the sixth floor, and we all went there a lot. We had so much per diem, but it was in Hungarian money, foreign. It's called FORIN, and you can't. It's not worth a penny over any border, but in Hungary, it was, So we had a lot of money. We went up there and drank and ate and bought people rounds and stuff. And Scott, myself, the old black actor, Moses Gunn, we were there, Joe Spinell. Jason Miller had fallen in love with his girls at the American Embassy. We used to go there legation every once in a while, go to a dance, or, just schmooze, be with people who spoke American. And she is across the disco with the ambassador to Zaire and his party. And Jason kept getting angrier and angrier and angrier. And Joe Spinell, who loved to egg him on, said, Jason, there ain't nothing to it but to do it. Jason takes off, just wrecked, drunk, runs across the room, dives across the table at the Zairean ambassador, but comes up short and lands on the table. And the Zairean guy is going, you bastard, you American bastard. And Joe Spinell grabs a beer bottle, goes over and smacks the Zairean ambassador over the head.
What?
And we all exit. Just go. And Spinell and Jason went right down to Blvd's room and knocked on the door, and it's about 2 a.m. And he said, I think there's going to be people here. We're probably in a little bit of trouble, and just giving you a heads up.
Right.
But we all scattered, and it was. So they wanted to kick Jason out. They wanted to kick Spinell out of the camp. By then we're 2/3 of the way through the film, so it got worked out, and Spinell had to move to a different hotel, the Geller down on the river, but it worked out.
Wow, that's a great.
It was crazy, and there are way more. It was.
Are you going to write a book? When are you going to write a book about all
Yeah, I
this
keep thinking of doing that, but I don't know. I really do think a movie of the making of that movie would have been better than the movie that was made.
Right.
Yeah. More fun.
You should write a book. You should really write a book. I honestly think. Just do that.
Yeah.
All right,
seriously.
Chris.
And call it the 10th configuration.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nathan Fulps said, what was his white whale role? Meaning the role you always wanted but never got.
Oh, I don't know. Early days. Actually, it was one that Michael Moriarty did. The kid who got fired from Ninth Configuration. Excuse me. Early on, I was in a play called The Changing Room on Broadway. Rugby team from the north of England. Johnny Lithgow, a whole bunch of us. Johnny Cazale started out in it, but left to do the first Godfather, I think. And in the 70s, early 70s, I had a really nice role in it. And Katharine Hepburn's niece, I knew from doing a play with her up in Iverton, Connecticut a year or so before. She came to see it and brought her aunt, because I didn't know this, but her aunt was going to do a television movie with David Susskind producing The Glass Menagerie. And she came, I guess Kathy said, come and see Tom. He's in this play, and I think he'd be good for the Gentleman Caller. And Katharine Hepburn came and saw it. I didn't meet her, but Kathy called me after and said, my aunt really liked you. She thought you were wonderful in the play. And then my agent got a call and said, they'd like you to come over and read for the Gentleman Caller in David Susskind's office. And I said, yeah, sure, I'd love to. So I went and I read, and I read with her. She was there, Miss Hepburn. And we did this scene together, and she's crying, and I thought, this is good. This is going good. And I got the offer, but I could not get out of the play.
Oh.
They would not let me out of the play to do the part. Wow. And that was a big disappointment. Yeah.
Wow. But you worked with John Cazale?
Oh God, I love Johnny Cazale.
I'm a huge
John Cazale. We were great friends when we were young in the late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah.
And I worked a lot at Long Wharf Theater in New Haven, and I had a shack in East Haven that I rented, and he come up and stayed there for one season, and oh my God, yeah,
maybe a whole nother. I could hopefully one day you and I can be in the same room together, maybe at one of these conventions or something. And
oh sure,
I could talk John Cazale with you all night.
Oh yeah, did you know him? Were you friends with him back then?
Oh no, I was just a fan of his stuff, and I mean he's been in 5 movies, but the biggest movies ever, and there's that great documentary about him, and I know a lot of his stage work and stuff, so it was just
the sweetest kid back then, and then he died. Man. And he died while I was in ninth configuration. I got a call from Garn, who said how dumb I was then. She said, somebody called Meryl Streep called you and said John Cazale died. Oh, I knew he was dying because I had seen him in LA just before I went over to do it. And I felt so awful. But yeah, we had a really nice friendship relationship, and it doesn't knock you out, Chris, when you think that he only made 5 movies and every single one of them was nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah.
That's stunning.
And considered a cinema classic.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. Sorry,
I'd
Sean.
I'd love to talk to you about him someday. Yeah.
Hopefully in Orlando, we'll all have drinks and hear more configuration stories and
yeah.
Greg Gilbert said you were, although uncredited, he's wondering what your memories are of Barbra Streisand and the Owl and the Pussycat.
Yeah, she was funny. My main memory of Owl and the Pussycat is we had to confront her, kind of rile her up in a parking garage or somewhere underneath a building in the scene. And she eventually, I think I finally say something to her across a car roof, and she says, "Oh, fuck off." Well, the director, his name gone now, but she had to do that, I can't tell you, man, 10, 15 times. He just didn't like the way she said it. And I thought, she's just saying fuck off. That's my main memory.
Herbert Ross,
yeah. He was the director.
Had to look it up.
Around that same time. This doesn't have anything to do with that, but it did Worst Papa with Ruth Gordon, George, what's his face, and Carl Reiner directed it. And what a delightful guy he was. And I played a rookie cop, had to arrest the dog because George said the dog ate his mother. And the dog is in this little alcove or something. And so I had to go over and read the dog its rights and cuff it. And it has it's a German Shepherd, and it's got a little piece of Ruth Gordon's red dress hanging out of its mouth. So when I went over and I read the dog its rights, and then I said, "Give me your paw," and the dog went, and that wasn't in it, but the dog went, and I had the cuffs ready, and Carl said, "Cut." That's so great. That's so great. You asked, oh, that's a great. Okay, that was a nice memory.
George Siegel.
George Siegel.
I'm like the proofreader. I go and I double check everything.
Yeah. A fact checker.
Fact checker, yeah.
Jamie Squires.
We're getting to him.
Okay.
Michael Lantern wants to know, what's your personal favorite horror movie, whether you were in it or not?
Well, my favorite that I was in was Night of the Creeps. My favorite horror, probably Frankenstein from, the first Boris Karloff. No, The Bride of Frankenstein back then with Elsa Lanchester and Boris Karloff. That is my favorite. Yeah.
So Jeremy Squires asked the question, but you already answered it. But he wanted to know if you were considered in a role in John Carpenter's The Thing. But
I was. I met with John on it, and in addition to talking with him, I did go over and meet with him, and we talked about it. And I kind of thought, because all the conversations we had about my loving the original Thing and him making the Thing, and that we would do it together, but we did not. It wasn't a huge disappointment, but I'm a little sorry I wasn't in it. I think I would have added to the film.
You'd have been great.
Yeah. For sure. And tell Jamie.
Well, you can tell him. He'll be watching this. You tell
Jamie, I miss you, man. I hope I get to see you. Maybe maybe we can all be in Orlando in the fall, or maybe we'll get over to England and say hi to Rosie. Give her a big hug for me. Happy birthday to her again. And yeah, he's got this, him and his wife have a wonderful daughter, Rosie. Okay.
Nice.
Russell Wagus, who, by the way, he's the guy who made the Halloween 3 trading cards. Did I ever send you those, Tom? The set of trading cards?
From Horror Hound?
No.
I have a deck of Horror Hound trading cards. Oh, not trading. No, you never did.
Okay, so I got them.
I know playing cards.
I was supposed to give them to you when I saw you next, and then we ended up, COVID happened. So I still have them here somewhere. A fan made these really cool custom Halloween 3 trading cards. I gave Chris got a set. They're really nice.
Yeah, they're great. They're really cool.
So I got those for you. But he has a question. What was one role you turned down and regretted? Also, was there ever a character you played only once that you wish you could have played again? I already know the answer to that one.
I would love to have played Detective Ray Cameron for about 7 times. That would have been great fun. And there is, did he say what role were you ever offered that you turned down and you regretted?
Yes.
Yeah.
None. I was never offered a role. I have turned down roles, but never one that I regretted.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We're getting close to the end. We're almost at the end. I think we got like 3 more questions left. Andrew, Ines?
Chris, shouldn't you be back at work? Shouldn't you be doing something? See?
Yes, but I'm here talking to you. I told them they can go fuck off. I'm talking to them.
You said that better than Barbara.
Andrew Ines said, or Annis. Andrew Annis said, what was he was asking about what was the gist of the Art Rooney stage show, but we kind of already covered that. But what aspects of Pittsburgh life do you enjoy the most and the least?
There isn't any part of Pittsburgh that I enjoy the least. Mm-hmm. I enjoy all of it.
He bleeds black and gold.
Nah, no, I don't bleed black and gold. Hey, did you see where they signed a different quarterback?
No.
A new quarterback. Oh, yeah. a college kid, I can't remember where, just signed him up a few days ago. So
is it just me, or does Chris look a little bit like Roethlisberger?
Yes, he does. Yeah, and I'll tell you who else looked.
You put a helmet on you, you'd look just like him.
Who else looked a little like Roethlisberger was Garth Brooks at the inauguration when he came down, took off his hat, and started to sing. And I thought, God damn, it's Big Ben. It looked like Ben. But no, I love the Steelers. I love the Penguins. I love the Pirates sometimes, but I don't go to their games much anymore. Even before COVID, because they just won't put any money into the team. They won't build it. They get rid of everybody that's good. But I love Pittsburgh. It's my hometown, and I adore it. It's a great city. I love everything about it. I love the saloons, though not as much as I did when I was young. But I love the neighborhoods. It's why I like New York too. New York is way more neighborhoody than you think it is when you think of Manhattan. But
yeah, if I came to Pittsburgh and bought a house there, where should I buy one? Where should I look?
Well,
off the top of your head,
Mount Lebanon. It's a nice neighborhood. It's close into the city. But I don't know what you like. You might like downtown, get an apartment downtown or something. But
no, I want to live.
Yeah,
no, I want to live out.
a little bit out.
Well, you know,
Mount Lebanon's only 10 minutes from town. It's an old neighborhood, but it's a good neighborhood. And my wife, we live further out, a half hour beyond Mount Lebanon. And every time we go into town for anything and we come home, we always come out through Mount Lebanon. And she always says, if we lived here, we'd be home now. But no, we have another half hour to go.
Right.
So,
sorry, got off topic. Go ahead. Hit the question.
It's all right. It's all good. All right. Second to last question here. David Thompson, he says, Night of the Creeps is one of my all-time favorite horror movies. What was it like working on that film? Did Fred leave any room for improvisation? And how does it feel getting your own Ray Cameron action figure?
It felt great. Yeah. What a treat. For how long? 40 years after the movie, they come out with an action figure?
Right.
Something like that. Yeah, it's good. I forgot to put one up here. I got a few downstairs, but I don't have one up here. But yeah, that felt great. That was a treat. And the girl at the Shout Factory said it sold out in 4 weeks, pretty quick. And I was thrilled with that. Working on it, the treat of my movie making time. You know, it's funny that people ask that. Did Fred leave room for improvisation, and was there improvisation, and did you make up those lines? And we didn't make up anything. It was all scripted, and Fred wrote it, but I sure did have some great lines.
Yeah,
I had more fun lines in that film than anything, and it was a joy to make. We shot down in near UCLA campus, just south of LA.
Well, the sorority street was USC.
USC.
Yeah.
Okay. And we shot in the valley, North Hollywood, driving that old Merc around, and I loved it. I loved working on that. I love doing that scene with Jason, where I tell the story of my wife and Fred just kept getting closer, 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 closer. I love that, doing that scene and just doing the whole film. And again, I'm only sorry that it didn't do better when it came out than it did.
But yet again, has found quite a cult following and audience over these years. And you were so good. I love that film. I have such a soft spot for that film because it checked all the boxes of what I want to see in that type of movie. It looks cool. It has this weird, silly 80s vibe. It's got the 50s in it, and that film noir kind of detective thing as well. It's all these. I love all those elements, and you were so good. You were not so funny, and yet really great dramatic performance too with your story. I just love that movie. It's over the top. It's such a popcorn entertaining film. It really is.
It is. Thanks. Yeah. I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad all the fans that have come to love it all over the years
You know, it's funny. I just realized all these questions, we didn't get one Creepshow question or Escape from New York.
That's not one.
That's not one.
Not a one.
Interesting.
See how quickly they forget.
They forget.
So George is gone, so they don't. Yeah.
I saved one of the best question for last, or is it? I don't know. This is probably a question that's been burning in people's minds for years. And Frankie,
it's probably been burning in my mind too.
Well, no, you know the answer. You know the answer, sir.
Okay.
Frankie Carter wants to know, who was the best kisser, Jamie Lee or Stacey Nelkin?
Ooh.
Oh, come on, guys.
I know what your answer should be, but I'm curious of what you're but you'll be surprised. But my answer, I think what you should say. I know what you should say, but go ahead.
Why do you say that he should say that? I know what you're thinking.
Why do you? Why do you?
Only because what I expect to come out of your mouth is Silver Fox class, which is gentlemen don't say.
Yeah, and that is what comes out of my mouth. Is I couldn't possibly say. They were both wonderful young women to work with in every sense of the word. And Jamie, I think, was only 19, I believe, at the time. Stacey, a little older, but they were sweet, and they still are sweet, and they're still really very attractive women, and good women. I haven't seen Jamie since the show at Harhound, Indiana, when she that was a number of years ago. Stacey, I talked to more often on the phone and text each other, and I saw her more recently. Yeah,
and hopefully we'll see her in Orlando.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah,
at Phantasm with an F.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You should ask them. What do they think of my kissing?
Oh, that's a better question.
Back then.
Yeah. Well, see, this is why you're the envious so many men and young men, and now middle-aged men like Chris and I, because of these kinds of questions. That's why.
That's right.
Well, I absolutely appreciate you spending an hour and a half with us talking about your career.
Has it been that long?
It has. God. I know.
Wow.
It was so great to have you. I enjoyed this thoroughly. Again, huge fan, and I really look forward to sitting down with you in person with all of us,
Me
chatting,
too.
talking, and having beer, and I'm looking forward to that. Thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, it was my pure pleasure. Thanks a lot. It was great meeting you, and I hope I get to sit down and have a couple of beers, talk about Johnny Cazal with you.
Yes, yes. All right.
And Mr. Clark, I hope I see you before long.
I
Been a while. It's nice to see your faces now, but it'd be nice to give you a little hug and give Nay a hug and say hi.
I will give her a hug for you as soon as we jump off.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Oh, and make sure you tell her that piece of work with Ray Wise and the weird guy.
Yeah.
That's really wonderful.
Yeah.
Did she have that yet, or is that still upcoming?
No, that actually tonight is the.
Oh, is it?
Tonight is the exhibit opening. We can't go because we had prior plans. My aunt is coming over tonight for dinner, and something we'd had planned for weeks.
Oh yeah.
But tonight is the exhibit opening at the Sugar Mint Gallery. They're doing a Twin Peaks exhibit, and I just dropped that piece off on Wednesday. So it's at the exhibit. It's a one of a kind. There's no prints. So it's available to whoever buys it. And I'll drop a picture of it in here so people can see what it looks like. And maybe by the time this airs, it's already sold. I hope.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so. Thanks again, fellas.
Thank you, sir. Pleasure.
I'll talk to you soon, Tom.
All right. See ya.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Can you hear us? Yeah? No?
He's connected.
I was married to Garn, Marge, who got eaten out of her brain in the motel room next door in Halloween 3. She was my actual wife then.